Okay, in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to create an Amazon Connect instance. So I am in my Amazon account. I have a production Amazon account. I'm in the north east region, uh, and it's important to make sure you zoom in on the region that you want. If you're in the wrong region and you're halfway through configuring, you have to go back and reconfigure. So I just found that out the hard way. But it's important. These are my recently used services. I could search for Amazon Connect up here, but let me just connect Amazon Connect. And now I'm on the Amazon Connect dashboard. I want to make sure that I'm in the Northeast region. And I do want to show you that I can't go to Ohio and California. It's just not available. So it's only these two regions for this production account and other places. But let's create an instance. So we have over here Amazon Connect instances, documentation, third-party application integration. So what I want to do is I want to add an instance, and I have this stepper function here, which I love, where I could step through different aspects of setting up my Amazon Connect instance. And so I'm doing this manually, but keep in mind there's Terraform scripts that do this, there's Amazon Cloud Development Kits that do this, etc. And we'll look at that later because I've built some of the Terraform and I've done this in the past, but when you're in working on production configs, you got to be very careful and do things the correct way. Okay, so here we have to set the identity. We have three options. One is we can store the users in Amazon Connect. This is an option where I can create a user, create the security profile, say they have access to user access, or I could create an agent, say this agent has agent access, they could access agent workspace, etc. So there's users and there's security profiles and there's access control. Just keep that in mind. And this is a simple way to import with files, users, export files with users, or dynamically create users on the fly. So this is your simplest option. And for demos, we will use it. You could also link to an existing directory, Active Directory, on-prem, managed service. You can go through the trouble of making this happen. Um, and there's also SAML 2.0 based authentication, which is security assertion markup language 2.0, and this can be used for single sign-on and SaaS to SaaS integration, etc. Okay, so we're going to use the simple user repository. We need an alias instance. Now, I just went through this and I used an alias instance that, and at the end of my configuration, it told me that uh, the um, the domain name was in use. So I failed. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to call this, let's see if I could get through this. This is my unique domain name, and it's not telling me it's correct. If I click next, it'll use it, and then towards the end of my configuration, it'll tell me that it's duplicated. But I have hometask.io. I might have home task. I have my home task AI used for open search. So these domain names have to be unique. So let's go to next. I'm going to call this home task 2025. Um, and let's go to next. Okay, now it's asking me whether I want an administrator. And I don't have to configure this now, but I'm going to. I'm going to say my username is DNCNW0KT and my password is being set. Now, this email address is old. It's not working. Let me make task.io my email address. And that is a valid email address, but I don't think I'm going to need it. Let me tag, let me add a tag here. I'm gonna call the name of this thing um, home task. I'm gonna give it the same name. I could call it home task connect. Let me give it the same name because my domain name, my tags, and everything can be used in certain ways when within Amazon, and I just want to be consistent. Okay, so let me do this. Let's go to next. Okay, it's asking me whether I want incoming calls, outgoing calls. By default, it's checked. Incoming calls, the customer will call the agent. If the agent's busy and there's too many users in the queue, you might get a message that says, "We'll call you right back in 10 minutes." If yes, click one, and then the agent can make an outgoing call to that customer. Well, outgoing call anywhere. So this is what that's all about. Okay, now we go to next, the data storage. What we do with data storage is we need an S3 bucket. The recording files and all the JSON data, which is the chat transcripts and the agent transcripts, it goes to S3 bucket. And so you need an S3 bucket, and we're going to create one. We're going to create the permissions for Amazon Connect to access that S3 bucket. And so what it's doing is telling me the default configuration. And 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 this is hard to see. Let me see if I could magnify it just a little bit. So it's using this bucket. Okay, so I got Amazon Connect / connect home test 2025. My CloudWatch logs go here too. Um, let's see if let me see if I could move around here a little bit. Okay, it's enabling customer profiles. I want that when the customer calls in, I want to integrate Salesforce CRM and Service Desk. Um, I want to be able to see not only the information about the customer, extended information about the customer, but also the cases and the open cases they have open and the problems that they're having. So this enables that to happen. This enables email capability within Connect, and so it's by default. I'm gonna leave that alone. And let me see if I could scroll. Oh. Darn, let me go back and let me go back and minimize this again. It's just really annoying. I want to enable email. I want to customize my storage data. And so notice it's setting up it set up the bucket and enable customer profiles. It's set up my email. It's asking for keys for certain things. I'm going to leave that alone until I configure a customer a Salesforce integration into my contact center. And notice it tells me where the call recordings are going to go. So we have a bucket and a path. And the bucket's the same for the call recordings, for the chat transcripts, which these are all JSON files with text. Customer said, "I need help." Agent said, "What can I help you with?" Customer said, I need to cancel a transaction or whatever it may be. The chat transcript has the conversation, JSON format. Um, and so there's this enable encryption everywhere. So we want our system to be secure, so we leave that alone. And and like I said, email messages go into the S3 bucket. Um, and we could export reports which go into as the same S3 bucket in a reports path. And we have Amazon Lexbots enabled. Amazon Lexbots, in some sense, are a must. Amazon Lexbots enables you to plug into your interactions, into your voice calls, into your messaging what is your intent? Um, what is your intent? I need to get a refund, and then it would start. The Lexbot has some slots. What is your order number? What is, what date did this happen? Whatever you want those slots to be, the Lexbot's going to go and ask the customer the order number and any information, a date, or whatever information they need. And once all the slots are filled, the Lexbot says, "Okay, we're good to go. We could help you." So this is enabled, and you're going to use Lexbots. Um, and then there's flow logs. So we got everything here. What I don't see is any evidence of Lambda configurations because I don't need it, and I'm just trying to configure this as simple as possible. So now here's my review. I have added an administrator. I've got telephone incoming, outgoing calls. I got data storage. I got my buckets for call recordings, email messages, exported reports, transcripts, chat transcripts. I got my flow logs, and I got Lexbots enabled, Lexbot analytics enabled, and customer profiles enabled, and my email enabled. This looks good, and it's shown me a tag that I created. And let's see if we can create it. So now it's creating. And so when you go through this and you create your instance, just make sure you use that unique domain name. Make sure y- you let all the default options happen. The main concern is that that role that was going to give my contact center the ability to write to S3 buckets, send emails, etc. That is being created automatically for me. But it's on my radar screen because I might have to extend it. Um, so when you're automating something like this, as opposed to using the manual configuration, what you want to do is make sure that you could create and break down. Because what you're going to be doing, I suppose after this, I'm going to lose track of what I'm doing manually, right? So after this, I'm probably going to set up Kinesis streams and Kinesis Firehose and create a bucket for Firehose, let's say contact trace records to go into a particular bucket, so I could process them with events and put them in a Snowflake. And that's another manual task that I did. Now CloudTrail should keep track of everything I'm doing, um, but um, keep in mind that I am a root user creating the instance. I did create a Connect administrative user, um, let's say with a different username and password. So after I create this instance, I'm going to switch to the administrator and basically go in there and start doing other things like configuring Kinesis or whatever. Okay, so now we have a successful instance. Um, and there's a get started button here that I'm tempted to click. But let's just see. We have our instance. It's created. We can now choose phone numbers, accept calls, and engage with your customers. So now what I want to do is I want to finish up and wrap up this video that we created an instance. So I do want to point out a couple of things. One is I'm still logged in as my root user. I haven't logged in to the instance with the administrator yet. Now, between me and you, I honestly don't know what my root user is at this point. It could be the same user I made the Amazon Connect admin user, because it could be the same username and the same password. I don't know at this point because I haven't used this production account for a while. I usually use my QA environment. So, but I want to point out that what we have here is the date it was created, the status is active, and I'm paying for usage now, so just keep that in mind. Um, and I could look at as a root user, I could look at my bill and see if I'm accumulating charges for this every day. And it's pay for usage, so as I'm testing this thing, as I configure it and test it, and I'm writing files to S3, and yeah, I'm gonna start accumulating charges. I mean, it won't be much because there's not many users on my system, but it will happen. Okay, so let's just finalize what we're doing here. This is the access URL. Um, and I want to show it to you. So let me see if I could bring it up in a different um, screen. Okay, so this is my access URL to Amazon Connect. Now notice um, I created an admin user, so I can log in with the admin user. Now I just want to point this out because it's a little bit confusing because with this instance, I am in logged in as a root user, not the admin user for Amazon Connect. So there's a little bit of confusion here, but there's some works. Okay, so let's say let's say I'm still logged in as root. I have this window open where the admin could log in, but just to wrap up what I've done in configuring my instance. The last thing I want to show you is you can go to your instance and you could see things associated with your instance. And and as an administrator of my Amazon account, I see certain things here. And I also could log into Amazon Connect this login emergency access. Now this login with my admin user that I created and this emergency login should go to the same place. So let me just go there real quick and show you. Now notice I am in the Amazon Connect dashboard. I'm logged in as this root user, or whoever I am, logged in as the root user. And I could see certain things that my Amazon administrator could see. So I could see the analytics, I could see how to configure contact lens, I could see how to set up the contact flows, prompts, queues, hours of operation, etc. And keep in mind that what I'm looking at here is a configuration guide. Things you should do in a certain order. And there might be some variation here in what you could do, but do it in this order because you're gonna you're gonna need to set certain things in these blocks, um, in these steps, which might need to get predefined in the previous step. So keep that in mind. Um, and there's outbound campaigns, content management, uh, agent applications, customer profiles, and phone numbers and channels. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to let me try to do this. So I got three things up here. And like I said, this is the thing that's a little little bit confusing. Uh, okay, so let's go back over here. Let me go back over here and let me log in as the administrator. Okay. And now it appears to be the case that I'm logged in as the Connect admin, and I do have access to all the things that the root administrator had. So um, and let's just wrap this up. So what I want to show you is that this is an administrator. Now I'm going to create a customer user. I'm going to create an agent user, and here's a contact control panel, which basically the agent can see. The agent can say, "Okay, I'm online, I'm available, and I'll be taking phone calls." But I'm not an agent. I'm an administrator. So let me get rid of that. And I can show you the agent workspace, which is which comes up like this. And the agent, when they accept a call, right now they're available. They could be offline or available. When they take a call, they will see the customer's profile information, and they could go to cases and see cases they have open with Service Desk or any other external tool. And that's really what I want to show you right now. I will in the next video I'll show you we're going to create a user, we're going to create an agent, we're going to go through these steps in the configuration guide to create our contact center. Now the funny thing is you see configure users at the end here, which is very interesting because I needed my admin to go in and create users and do things. So I could have been doing all this as the root user and come down here and created my admin user. But what I did is I created the admin user on the fly, and now I could go and do these things, uh, these steps, and then I could create an agent and a customer and do whatever I need to do. Okay, let's um, let's end the video. Okay, so let's end this video and let's move on to the actually configuring.